Making moves Monday on a Monday night. And here's a scripture for you. Go to the ant, you slugger, consider his ways and be wise, which, having no captain, overseers, or rulers, provides her supplies in the summer and gather her food in the harvest. How long will you slumber, you slugger? Will you rise from your sleep? Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 through 9. So my topic on tonight is, are the baby steps actually good for you? So for those of you who don't know what the baby steps are, I'm going to give you the baby steps to budgeting. This is something that's done by Dave Ramsey and his team. And so number one is to save up $1,000 for an emergency fund. Number two is to pay off all your debt and use the debt snowball method to pay off your debt. Number three is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Number four is to invest 50% of your household income into retirement. Number five is to save for your children's college funds. Number six is to pay off your home mortgage. And number seven is to build wealth and give. So these are the 7 baby steps, and I will be breaking them down as far as what's good, what's bad, and why some people can do it and maybe why some people can't. Okay, so looking at the first 2 baby steps, I think they are definitely looking at number one, as far as saving $1,000, I think this is something that a lot of people can actually do, but I can see where people can possibly struggle in doing that. Just because if you're getting paid a low amount or you're making minimum wage, it may be a little bit harder to actually save up $1,000, and definitely if you're behind on bills. But I do believe that we as people should always strive to at least save $1,000 maybe every year, because you never know when things are going to happen. And I've said in other videos before, it's known or said that most people live paycheck to paycheck, and most people don't even have $100 saved up in case things do actually fall apart or go bad. So I do like baby step one, and I think it's something that is something that people can do, and I think you should try to do it each and every year. Now, as far as baby step number 2 and paying off all your debt and using the snowball method, I'll probably break down the snowball method on another video, but this is basically taking your lowest debt and paying that off, and then putting all your money towards that, and then going and paying off your next lowest debt after that. And then you kind of build a snowball, and you kind of, however much money you were putting into that other bill, then you'll use it for the next bill that you're trying to pay off. And then this is what they call the snowball effect. But in terms of paying off all your debt, this is something that I feel like a lot of people will have trouble with this baby step, just because this baby step requires you to pay off all your debt. And by paying off all your debt, what that's going to cause is you're going to have to not be able to do certain things. So that means going out. A lot of people like to go out. You're going to have to stop going out. A lot of people like to go on vacations, spend time or blow money doing certain things that they like going to nice events and things like that. And when you're trying to actually kill the debt that you have and lower your debt, you're going to have to actually let go of a lot of those things. Now, I can see where a lot of people will have issues with it, but I do see where a lot of people will be able to actually do it. But the biggest thing that I see where it'll be a problem for most people is this means that you're going to live a boring life for a while. And depending on how much your debt is, this could be 5 or 6 years before you can actually pay it all off. There is possible ways some people are able to pay it all off in 1 year, and then some people are not. And then the other big thing that I have with this is you'll probably hear some people say that all debt isn't actually bad, and I could definitely agree to that, because sometimes if you were to open a business or to do something else, you're going to actually have some debt. And then even too, let's say for instance, you pay off your car, but then all of a sudden you get in a big car accident, or something happens to your car, it goes out, then you're going to get yourself possibly back into debt, because you're going to have to eventually buy a new car. You're going to eventually have to replace things. And if you don't have the money at the time, even if you do have, $1,000 stacked up for emergencies, it may take all your $1,000, and then you have to actually save that money again. So going back to baby step one, and then trying to get yourself to actually pay off the debt that you actually have. So I don't think in most cases that a lot of people will just be debt free for the rest of their lives. So this is why I can see where people will have issues with baby step number 2. Okay, so looking at 3 and 4 of the baby steps, I think number 3 is actually good, and it's something that a lot of people should try to actually do. Reason being is because 3 to 6 months of having your bills, basically enough money in your funds to pay those actual bills, will definitely help you out. In the day and time that we live in, a lot of people don't actually like the jobs that they actually work, and they want to move on to another job, or for whatever reason, you could get into it with some people at your job and you don't want to feel like you're actually stuck there. So by having this fund, this will actually help you so that you have 3 to 6 months to figure out your next move, or to figure out what you're going to do next. This also will help you out in a lot of ways, in terms of if something just happens, tragedy to you, like let's say you get in a car accident and you're injured and you can't go to work for 3 to 6 months. It may take some time for your disability to actually kick in, or even any insurance that you may have to actually kick in. So by having a savings for 3 to 6 months to pay off any of your necessary bills that you have, this gives you an advantage that if anything was to happen to you, that your bills will be paid and you'll be all right. So I definitely look at this as a good thing, and something that people can actually utilize to actually help them out. Now, baby step number 4, investing 15% of your household income into a retirement plan. I do see this as a good thing as well. I think it's always good to invest in your retirement plan. Now, you can always get one outside of your job. A lot of people have one inside of their job. I think you should actually do both. The reason being is because in case you ever leave your job, you can take that money that you invested into your job and roll it over into your retirement plan that you have actually outside of your job. But the one thing I would say as terms of retirement, I don't really think we ever retire. And the reason why I say that, or we shouldn't look at a mind frame of retiring, because you should always look at being able to make money even when you're sleeping, or to be able to make money in other ways. So you can retire from your job, but if you have a business or something like that, you don't actually have to be there and actually be working, and you can still be actually making money. And then a lot of people, once they do retire, eventually that money runs out. So you never know when some kind of emergency, a tragedy, a hurricane or something may come and wipe out everything that you have, and then you have to spend up that entire retirement money. Or somebody may sue you for some crazy reason and you have to pay out that person. So having a retirement plan is definitely good, but I think you should still look at other ways that you can make money outside of your retirement plan, so that you can make sure that money is still always coming in for you. Now with 5 and 6, here's the thing as far as the college, saving up for your kids to actually go to college. One of the things that I know is that all your kids, if you have multiple kids, are not actually the same. They don't think alike, they don't act alike, they're just not the same person. And so with that being said, not everybody's kids are going to actually go to college. And then if you look at the cost of college in today's world, it's getting harder and harder for parents to actually be able to actually pay for it. So saving for it, I definitely think it's a good idea, but I don't know if you should actually do this just based on the fact that your kids may not actually go to college, and then based on the facts that you may not actually want them to go to college because it's so high. And then too, there's a lot of parents who say, well, that's their debt, so I'm going to let them go ahead and pay off their own debt. Now, the last thing is paying off your house early. I think this is a good idea, and I think this is a great thing to do, to actually pay off your house early. But the one thing I would say about this is I feel like this should be somewhere earlier in the baby steps. The reason why I say that is because I think securing a home is a big financial gain for a lot of people. There's a lot of things that you can do and benefit on by you actually owning an actual home. This is there's ways that you can write off things in your taxes by owning a home, and even the taxes that you pay on it. Then there's also ways that you can actually get money from your home based on you actually having one. There's a lot of people who are willing to give you loans against your actual home. And so this can actually help you out to establish buying maybe another property or starting a business. So a home equity loan is always good, and if you have a house earlier than later, then you can definitely utilize this to actually help you out. But then also too, I just think securing a home and having a home, and if you do this probably first, let's just say for instance, you find a home that has been foreclosed, and you go and you do the repairs to that home, even if it's a not so good looking home, but after you do the repairs to that home and you actually fix it up, you have a place to stay forever. So then, meaning if you pay it off, I'm sorry. So if you pay this home off, because if you get a foreclosed home, it's usually a lot cheaper than a regular home, and you can pay this off quicker and faster and maybe pay it off at once. So if you did something like that, then this will help you out a whole lot, because now all you have is your bills to worry about, and you don't have to worry about paying anybody rent, and you don't have to worry about paying anybody a mortgage. And so I think this just makes things a lot easier for a lot of people when they're able to actually do this. So this is why I would say I will push that up in the terms of the baby steps, and have this probably a little bit earlier than having it at number 6. Because once you get to number 6, you've done a lot of other things which will possibly help you to pay off your home early. But then you never know, other things may actually come up as you are trying to pay your home off. Lastly, I always think it's good to build wealth and actually give to others. That's baby step number 7. And this is the baby steps. I definitely think with number 7, which I think you can always even still do that as far as building wealth as you're going, and then always giving to people. You may not be able to give to people financially, but there's other ways that you can actually give to people by giving your time, your energy, and just being there for people. This is definitely another way that you can help to actually give to others. So those are my thoughts on the baby steps. But I would say that they all are actually good, and it's good if you can actually do it. The only thing that I think about when I look at them is that this sounds like something that will work maybe 20-30 years ago, and then the only thing that well, they can still work today, but I think that my mind frame and thinking is that I prefer more people to own businesses than to be workers. And when you look at these baby steps, it looks like it's applying to a person that's actually working a job, and not a person that's actually owning businesses and owning properties and other things. And even when I look at the guy who created it, Dave Ramsey, he actually has his own business that he runs and other people work for him, so he's making other money while he's actually possibly following these baby steps that they came up with. And so I say that to say that if he owns and has a business and this is how he makes extra money, and he's not actually retired, because the owner basically doesn't retire, he just maybe passes it down to his kids or family members, and then they just give him a low cut for getting things started. So I say all that to say that this is why I think the baby steps aren't probably the best thing for people, because it doesn't mention anywhere in there about you actually owning and running your own business. And always remember, one move can change your whole life. Making moves.